What's up, everybody? This is Jeremiah Smith with Just Some Guy Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about the Cadre Comp. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start with full disclosure that I bought this item myself. It was not sent to me. I don't have any affiliation with Threat Cadre, and to be honest, until I saw another review on it, I was calling it Cater, not even Cadre. So I didn't know much about the company overall, or Greg Slimp, the man who founded it. But I wanted to go ahead and give it a shot and see how it did. So we're going to go ahead and hit some of the high points on it. So coming in first on our Threat Cadre Compensator, I got it for my Staccato 2011. It's the P model. Go ahead and chamber checking it, making sure it's all good and empty there. So no problems. Empty chamber. So came in $179. Not a bad start for it. It is made out of aluminum. It has the ability to go on a threaded barrel. So one of the differences between this and some of the other compensated barrels that you can get is that this could go on any threaded barrel. It can also be removed. Part of the installation process for it is that whenever it ships to you, it ships with some shims that are supposed to help take up some of the space in there and provide a more secure fit. Also comes with I don't know the exact brand of it, but essentially it's like a Loctite that goes on there. But whenever you install it, the instructions for the installation process pretty straightforward and simple. I decided to get mine in the black anodized coating whenever it first came available. I ordered mine May 6th of 2021. And I actually received it on October 27th of 2021. So a little bit of a wait, but I did start with a pre-order on there. And after some issues with some of the logistics and talking to Greg, whose customer service has been second to none. I mean, he's been very responsive, answers all of his questions himself. Most of the way I was reaching out to him was via Instagram, and very responsive, very kind, very polite. But after talking to him and getting some answers on why it was taking so long and some very polite, very, very kind answers on it, I finally received it. And to be honest, it was awesome. I love the way that it fits on. I mean, you can see from some of the close-up pictures of it. Overall, this is my carry gun as well. So if you find any lint on it or any dirt, I carry the gun. My guns are for use. They're very expensive. I think the only non-staccato that I own is a Gen 3 Glock 17. But, just very good, solid gun for carry. But with the compensator on there, personally, I like the fit and the finish of it. There's a slight gap that's in there. Doesn't bother me. It actually has to be in there because with the guide rod and the way that it fits actually inside, it's necessary so that way it'll close up whenever you're tightening it on down there. So it's made to go on there, fits really well. The compensator, whenever it came with the anodized coating. I installed it the first time and I actually messed up the coating whenever I did it. So the instructions said that you should take an adjustable wrench or crescent wrench or whatever you feel like calling it and put some material on the sides of it and then go ahead and twist it around, put it on, install it. I'm not illiterate with tools. I'm a miner by trade, so every now and then we have to work on different things and stuff like that. But I scratched the finish on it pretty easily. A lot of that was because I wasn't using an adjustable wrench like it said I was supposed to, and I was cranking down on it. And I actually used, I think it was a set of adjustable vice grips. I had put some material in between, but I still managed to scrape it up pretty good. Contacted Greg. He actually told me, go ahead, mail it to me. I will recode it. Since you waited so long, you were so patient, I'll go ahead and recode it, send it back out to you free of charge. So he did that, and I had one of my buddies try to help me install it the second time, and it came out really well. I'm happy with the way that it fit. I think the thing that I like most about the aesthetics of it is the fact that it actually does match the same lines overall of the actual gun itself. Like it looks like it's made to go on there. It doesn't. It obviously is made to go on there. It was designed specifically for this gun. But I mean, it looks like it was designed with the actual gun itself. It looks like it's part of it. And the fact that it doesn't void the warranty. You know, I've heard good things about the chunk ports. I've heard good things about the stack ports. Even I think it's David Simsick over at DSC Gunworks. He does a V8 porting, which I also really like. There's some really good, solid ways of compensating or porting your barrel. But honestly, out of all of them, the idea of being able to compensate it without voiding your warranty, for me, that was a big deal. If I pay, you know, between $2,000 and $2,500 for a gun, I want to make sure that if something goes wrong with it, I can send it in and it'll be taken care of, no problem. And so, you know, on a gun like that, a lot of people say there shouldn't be a problem, but parts of them are mass produced. So that's just going to be part of what goes with it. So another thing that I really, really liked about this gun, just in terms of the aesthetics of it, was the fact that I had already purchased a threaded barrel. I actually got mine from Staccato, so it was a Staccato made threaded barrel for it. And so once you put it on, you put the Loctite on there, get everything set. All you have to do, I have the original factory barrel that's the 4.4 inch as well. So if I want to go compensated, I just throw the compensated barrel in there. If I want to go ahead and go with the standard carry barrel, I have the option of doing that as well. So I like versatility with mine. I have a Staccato C2 that I had purchased for my wife, and great gun, absolutely love it. I usually don't carry that one because I did purchase that for my wife. So for me, the idea of, you know, I wanted to make sure that I had a gun that was for me, that I could carry, and I like the versatility of that. As far as the length, let me go ahead and chamber check this one as well. I have a Staccato XL. I currently own 3 Staccatos. I have a Staccato XL, a Staccato P, and a Staccato C2. The only one that I have that is optics ready would be the C2. It's a C2 Duo from the year 2020. So I know that I think they've officially switched it to the DPO on the way that they're calling the optic ready version now. But one of the things that I thought was interesting about this, and just showing it's been chamber checked, all good, is that it does take the overall length roughly to the same size between the XL and my P now. I don't actually mind that. I've concealed carried a Staccato P. Usually I carry inside the waistband about the 5 o'clock position. I know there's a lot of guys that prefer appendix. There's some people that carry outside the waistband. There's different ways. But for me personally, that's just the most comfortable. I'm a bit of a big boy. I don't like to think of it as a dad bod. I like to think of it as a father figure. But I can't comfortably carry appendix like a lot of the other guys do. So, you know, for me, that's the most comfortable way that I can carry. It also doesn't matter as far as the size. I've also owned, in addition to the 3 that I have, I've had a STI Costa Carry Comp, and then I had an STI Combat Master. I sold both of those to my best friend, but overall, I have a lot of experience with 2011s. The reason that I called the name of this channel Just Some Guy is because I don't have military experience. I'm not law enforcement. I don't have any official training. I'm a guy that most of what I've learned has been trial and error and things like that. I'm not one of those super tactical Instagram operators, so I'm just some guy. I'm the every guy. So these are kind of the everyman's thoughts on these as far as the way that things go. But we'll go ahead and get into some pros and cons. So with the compensated thing on there, the first thing that I noticed as soon as I had it on there was how flat that it shot. I am going to be adding some video in here of me actually shooting as well, but shooting it, absolutely incredible. I noticed that it held flatter whenever I was shooting. There wasn't as much felt recoil, which these guns don't have a whole lot of felt recoil to begin with, but I mean, it felt pretty dead in the hand as soon as I had that on there. One of the other things that I noticed is that, you know, just that extra little bit of weight on the end, I felt like it made it feel more like my XL. My XL was by far the most accurate handgun I had shot. It was right up there next to my Combat Master. Great guns. And I think part of it with the 5.4 inch barrel length on those. That extra little bit of weight does help keep you a little bit flatter on there. But having the compensator on there, I noticed that it felt like it was handling pretty much the same way as my XL was. Another thing that I noticed was whenever I was shooting, thanks to the reduced muzzle rise and the recoil, I did have quicker follow-up shots. You'll see in the photo, I am not a double tap king. Like I said, no formal shooting experience. You know, mostly just a guy that carries, trains what he needs to. I'd love to get some training in the future, but right now, that's just not where I'm at. But I did notice that even just the shots that I took, I had a quicker follow-up. It didn't take as long for me to get the sights back on target. I already covered it once, but I love the aesthetics of this thing. It's great. The coating that's on there, he initially went with anodized coating. I've talked to Greg since then for the purposes of this video. And so he's no longer going to be anodizing because of some of the issues they were having. He's actually going to be Cerakoting these. But you can see a slight discrepancy as far as the color on it, but overall, I mean, it still looks great. It's not such an off color that it doesn't fit. And frankly, like I said, for me, these are more tools. I pay a lot of money for these tools, but I'm an every guy that loves these things. So I really enjoyed shooting it overall. Another thing that I already mentioned that was great was the customer service. You know, there were several times I talked to Greg and I was like, hey, look, you know, do you have any updates for me? Can you tell me? And he would tell me whether he was having problems, you know, getting things anodized. There was a couple times whenever he would go to one of the shops to have it anodized, send them all the parts, and then thanks to the beautiful COVID-19, he had to have a wait for it before he could even get them back. And so it'd be 2-3 weeks. And then, you know, he would take some, try sending them to a separate shop, and same thing. So COVID's been slowing everybody down, and it sucked. But even through that, he was very kind, very patient. I didn't feel like I was bugging him whenever I asked how things were going. And then, like I said, I actually screwed up the initial install on mine, and whenever I did, I ruined the coating on it. And he's like, you know what? You've waited long enough. Go ahead and send it back. I'll take care of you. So for me, in terms of that, you know, that was just great customer service. As far as some of the cons, you know, there was the wait time, and I know he was developing it. These are the first batch of these that came out, so he went from pre-ordering and selling, and he's had some logistical nightmares as far as getting them out, but overall, I think that it was worth the wait. But for some people, that wait time can be a bit extensive. And so I know whenever you pay good, hard-earned money to go out and get, I'm going to say, your new toy. These aren't toys, but you know, you want to be able to enjoy what you've purchased. You want to see how it's going to work, especially whenever it's a brand new product. And there's always that thing of, well, how reliable is the person? Greg has an impeccable reputation. I can tell you from firsthand experience, having purchased this, that it's well earned. But again, that wait time was a little bit of a con. Once he gets things smoothed out, I'm sure that that'll go away. You know, there was also the install. I'm sure if anybody else was smart enough to not try to use the tools that I did, there wouldn't be a problem with it. But, you know, as far as the installation, it wasn't terrible overall. And like I said, there's I think it was Rock Set, or it was Thread Lock. It was something small like that, but it wasn't a difficult install. But with me not being perfect, you know, you can notice that the lines on here are just slightly off. Doesn't bother me in the slightest, but if any of you guys are a perfectionist and you want these things to be perfect, you know, I'd either take it to a professional gunsmith or, you know, take care of it yourself, but just take the extra care on that. So if there was like a jig or something like that that came up that would perfectly line that up, it would be great, but wasn't a problem. And then the last thing would be, you know, these are made out of aluminum. Whenever it was recoated, there's still a couple of the little nicks that you can see in there that overall, you know, like I said, it doesn't bother me too much. But for some of you guys that are perfectionists, that, you know, these are as much safe queens as they are tools, or you just want them to be beautiful, you know, that can bug some of you guys. Doesn't bother me, but I think maybe if instead of the anodized aluminum, if there was perhaps a DLC coated steel version that came out, I'd probably go out and buy that personally. I do know that there are some other people that are starting to sell some compensated barrels and some different things like that are coming out, and they do make theirs out of steel. Uh, you know, and I'll probably be trying to get a chance to get my hands on one to review one eventually. But overall, just super happy with this gun. It's been absolutely great. I love the compensator. I would recommend personally that you get it, especially only $179.99. If you've already got one of the limited edition staccatos, or you've purchased one of the threaded barrels for yours, and personally, I was looking at maybe buying an XC, but I was a little on the fence. $4,300 was a little extensive at the time, and that the day I was thinking about that, I was like, well, should I sell my staccato P? Should I look at selling the C2? Even though I'd gotten it for the wife. Don't tell her I said that. There are different games that you kind of play in your head. Okay, what do I have to sell? What can I get rid of to get one of those? And then whenever the threaded barrel mounted compensator came out, I was like, you know what? That's, even if it absolutely sucked, it would be worth $179.99 to find out. And I was super pleasantly surprised. As far as the actual feel of it, it was very similar to the cost to carry comp that I used to have. I'd probably say every bit the gun with the compensator on there. So if you're looking at getting an XC but you don't have the finances for it, or you're just kind of wanting to see how you'd feel about a compensated gun, or if you just have $180 and you're like, you know what, I think it'd look cool, why not? Go ahead and throw it on there. I personally would recommend getting it. So if there's any questions anybody has, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will also be doing some other reviews. I did get reached out to David Simsick from DSC Custom Gunworks. He has sent me a compensated barrel to try, and that's not monetized. I don't get to keep it. I'm going to have to send it back. But that'll be another one that I review coming up soon. But, overall, I think my takeaways from it would be, as far as the pros, they greatly outweigh the cons. I would like to see a steel version come out, or, for a lot of you guys that have there was the unanodized version, which just comes out with more of like the stainless effect. I would take the money to go get that DLC coated, possibly. The Cerakote's not bad, but if you want it to perfectly match your staccato, I think that would be a pretty wise investment. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching my review. Bye.
Oh.